Hey, what's up, everyone? Trader Tim from EminiMind here. Lots to go over today, so we're just going to dive right in. We're going to talk about how to build your trader intuition and how to assess your trading stats so that you can understand which metrics or which pieces of your strategy you might need to tweak and which ones would make the most sense to kind of gain the most profit. So let's dive to the 1-minute chart. And we're going to use today's trades to kind of walk through some of these trader intuition and trade stat metrics here. So the first trade I had today was at 635, and we filled the gap right away here. A small gap up, filled the gap, so there really wasn't much time before we came down and touched the 21 EMA. Coming into today, I will say it hasn't been a great week, hasn't been a bad week. It's just kind of a meh, I would say. Monday, I didn't really get much traction on the 1-minute trades, and then Tuesday, I didn't have any 1-minute trades. Had a halfway back trade, that was it. And then went yesterday, had 3 trades that totaled about 9 points, and those were 1-minute hammers and invert hammer trades. And then today had 5 trades for a total of 12 points. So just kind of a meh week. But coming into today, knowing that I didn't have a huge profit under my belt, I wanted to be a little bit selective. Whereas if I had seen trades going entry to target 4, 5, 6 times a day earlier in the week, that gives me a little more confidence to jump in and be a little more active. So today I would say 5 trades is pretty active, but I made some tweaks in how I manage the trades, and that's what we're going to talk about here. So that's kind of where the trader intuition piece comes from. And a lot of times, you think you're building trader intuition, but really you're just kind of haphazardly changing or modifying your strategy on the fly. And what's most important is to create a repeatable process that you can, almost a framework that you can trade with. So if you're going to make a small adjustment, you know that you're not moving 5 levers at once, and then you won't be able to tell which lever is working. So the first trade I had today was a little hammer at the gap fill at the 21 EMA, and we filled the gap, like I said, right away. And this one, I trailed my stop at the opposing setup. And if that just means the halfway back here, if I draw the very first halfway back short, instead of leaving my stop underneath the low of the hammer, once we touched the halfway back short, I just brought it up underneath that candle. And if it would have kept going, then I could have stayed in. But in this case, it took me out for basically scratch. And that was just kind of a judgment call based on, coming up to the first halfway back. We didn't have a lot of direction on the morning, so I didn't know if we were going to go up or down. But tightening my stop, that was a logical place to do it. Then we had this little hammer in here, and leading into it, we had 3 red bars that formed pretty quickly, and we started to get a lot of momentum to the downside. And so I chose to pass on this hammer for 2 reasons. 1, we had a strong down move, and 2, the next resistance would have been at the 21 EMA, and that was only about 2 points away. The high of the hammer was a 99.75, and then the 21 was right around 68.02. So we're talking, barely 3 points here. And so I felt like, well, if we came up to what would be the next halfway back, there's really not that much room to get away from my entry and have an opportunity to tighten my stop. Then we continued down, but we slowed down. Notice how these 3 candles made, a low over the prior candle by a couple of points. And then over here, we started to get kind of a slowing, and we were only moving below the prior candle by a couple of ticks. And then when we got this hammer, now both the halfway back and the 21 were a lot further away from what would be the entry. So 96.25 to basically 67 or 6,800. Now that's 4 points. And so we've got a lot more room to get up away from the entry and then be able to tighten the stop. So I did take this hammer here at 647 Pacific, and same kind of scenario. I knew this was counter trend. Yes, we did have a low tick at lows, but the trend was clearly down, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then if we put in a lower high, which we did, what I chose to do, just to kind of get some momentum on the day, was to I brought my target in from +6, and I put it right at the halfway back. So I just rounded down 99.88 to 99.75 and subtracted a tick and put that as my exit. So I got 3.25 points on that one. And I was kind of, looking at this area for a short, but I felt like there was enough room to go from entry to that short point to make it worthwhile. Plus the candle was fairly small, 2.25 points. So I did take that one. And then when we formed this bearish engulfing kind of inverted hammer, which was right at the 50% short, or if you're not even looking at the halfway backs, right at the 21 EMA, that one was a perfect place to take a short. So I was out of the long, and then once this candle formed at 650, I put in an order to go short here, and that one went down really quickly and got a +6. Let's see, so that one, the entry was 97, and then we made it all the way down to an 85, was kind of this low before we bounced. So that was a nice, fairly quick trade that you would expect to get follow through on, rolling over at the lower high, at the 21, at the halfway back. And the more you watch and practice and trade, focusing on one strategy, just the hammers and the inverted hammers, the easier it is to spot the setups. And when you're looking at a very specific one market, one time frame, one strategy, then you can really build up that intuition around those specific entry points. And when it comes to what I would call micromanaging the trade and maybe adjusting your target in some way or adjusting your stop, then you actually have concrete data that you can work off of versus just, trading a host of different strategies and different time frames. It's much more difficult to have a solid intuition backing you up. So then the next trade was at 702, and that one was this hammer down here. This line is the 30-minute low, the 30-minute opening range. That's the low, and we formed this beautiful hammer right here where the tail sticks down below the low, forming a double bottom. And so taking that long, on this one, let's see. So this one, we got the bounce. And again, we had room from the high of the candle to the 21. We kind of pushed through the halfway back right away without stopping. So that was a good sign for longs. Then we had a little bit of a flag here and then pushed up again on this pullback and push through. I brought my stop from -3 up underneath this candle because that was the next higher low, the swing low. And then when we got this inverted hammer, which also happened to have the double top high, I brought the stop underneath that candle. And that's a nice trigger to tighten your stop. If you're short on an inverted hammer and you get a hammer, I will bring my stop above that hammer. And if I'm long and I get an inverted hammer, I will bring my stop up underneath that inverted hammer. Because if I wasn't in the trade, a hammer, an inverted hammer, is a signal of a trend reversal. So that's a perfect place to move the stop to tighten it in case it does reverse, and then you can get out. So that one was only for 1.5 points. And then 712 was... then that one I reversed, actually, because we had the double top, and we were right at the 21. And again, a nice steady downtrend. So I reversed that, took that down, and then another perfect example, we got a hammer down at lows, so I brought the stop one tick above that hammer, and I was taken out there for 1.5 points. And It did get a little bit of a bounce and roll over. If you did leave your stop at -3, which would have been like right about here, and not tightening above the hammer on this specific trade would have kept you in to roll over for a +6. But from a day-to-day standpoint, I'm a big fan of tightening above a hammer or tightening below an inverted hammer. And that brings me to another point I wanted to make. So, I guess that was so those were the 5 trades from the day. 6 points on one, and then a couple smaller winners. But they start to add up, and if you can make 5 to 10 points a day, then your worst losing day, if you use the 2 stop out rule, which is probably the most important rule or parameter that I have in my arsenal that I've employed a long, long time ago, that's really allowed me to stay consistent and just not have any serious drawdown. A 2 stop out rule with a 3-point stop is 6 points per contract. So if you're averaging 5 to 10 points a day, and you have a day where you have -6, you know that you can easily, quote unquote, make that back the next day and be right back at break even or slightly in the black. So it takes a lot of the pressure off from being scared to take a trade or hesitating and things like that, because that 1 or 2 stops really isn't going to hurt you. But what I wanted to talk about is, so there's a couple different ways you can trail your stop. You can enter and then trail the swings. So, trailing the swing high and then let it move down, let it bounce, bring the stop above the next swing high. That's I would say a little more advanced technique, because you're letting the trade work without tightening your stop. There's the trailing each bar, which I also like, and I've done both of these, where you get in the trade, and in the very next candle, once it closes, you bring your stop above that candle. Once the next candle closes, you bring your stop above that candle. When the market gets a little more volatile, sometimes you can get shaken out of the trade before it really gets a chance to get running. But the key with trailing each candle is you want to just keep trailing each candle. You don't want to have a target, because the small winners get offset by really big winners. And so if you can have small winners and big winners, you can average out to, that +6. If you're using a trailing the swings, having a +6 is really helpful, because if you get a strong push, you can kind of get out of the trade with that momentum. If you're going to trail swings and not have a target, you can catch really big winners at times, but you need to be in that camp of someone who trades 5 days a week and is very proficient at spotting the good setups. Because if you miss 1 or 2 setups and you're counting on those big winners to be trades that make up for a lot of smaller losers, and you miss 1 or 2 of them, now all of a sudden your trade data is, your P&L is not messed up, but it really skews the numbers. So that's where, if you're, an intermediate trader, having a 6-point target works super well, because it can kind of get some of those quick wins. Starting by trailing swings is a good practice, and you can pair that with moving your stop to break even when the trade goes 3 points in your favor. And what that does is it ensures that if the trade gets a little momentum, you can move your stop to break even, or have your trade ladder do it for you, and then you're in a free trade. And that removes some of the fear of staying in the trade and risking a full stop out. If you're at break even, it will allow you to get to that +6. A lot of traders get fearful when they're up a point or two, because their stop is still where they started out, and they don't want it to turn into a loser. So then they just close out the trade for a point or two, and then the trade runs all the way to the target, but they're not in it. So it's important, if you struggle with taking winners too early, the +3 -3 is a really good strategy, even if you only use it for a short time, to reduce some of that hesitation and get those winners under your belt. The coincidental thing, as I went through all of my trades for the year, whether you use a +6 -3 and just trail the swings, or you go to break even at +3, the results come out to be nearly identical within 1 point. So you're going to end up with some trades where you move to break even and it comes back and it stops you out. And so you end up with 0 instead of a +6. But then other times you're going to end up with a 0 instead of a -3. So if you stick with one strategy, you'll be in good shape. And that's the most important thing with when you're manipulating or managing your trades. The more you are actively trading every single day, then the more opportunities you're going to put in front of you, and the more proficient you are with identifying the good setups and passing on ones that may not be as good, then you can get away with leaving your stop a little bit wider, taking a few extra stop outs, but having those big winners, racking up those big winners because you're participating. But if you're newer, then trailing each candle right out of the gate, or using a +3, move your stop to break even, is a really effective strategy. And if you're only trading a couple days a week, or if you're just not as experienced with identifying the setups, because it's going to cut down your losses fairly quickly, and then use that +6 target to kind of get some wins on the board. And after a short time, you'll be able to start increasing your contract size, and then that can open the door for a lot of other opportunities. So kind of a trade recap, trader intuition walkthrough today. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Otherwise, hope you have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.